on. 3, 2, 1. Did you know that it's relatively easy to meet your next romantic partner at a Whole Foods or a Starbucks?
Actually, it's simple. It can happen anytime.
Yeah. And I'm Emily Lou.
I'm Percy Ballard.
And we're going to show you how Percy actually does this quite often at a Whole Foods.
Yeah, well, this is, a little known secret, so don't tell don't tell any of my family members or anything like that. I'm just playing. My family knows me. Yeah, it is quite easy and can happen at any point when you want to meet someone, and it might seem like there's this barrier there, but with self-leadership, getting yourself into self, if you want to go meet someone, it's very easy. All you have to do is get into self, number 1, and speak for your parts, number 2. So we've had videos about self and about speaking for your parts, but we'll do a little brief review first of what is self. And self, another way to put it is your core self or your authentic self, your higher self. But it is what is at the core of who you are. It's the place where you are confident, grounded, where you are curious, where you feel most like yourself. And what I guess Emily and I do for a living is getting people into a place where they can feel that more often than feeling what their parts are. And their parts, when you're in parts, you're in a place where you're feeling very, confused or angry or sad or scared. They're the places other than self, other than the core authentic self, when you're not in your zone, when you're not in your jam. So
actually, one of the things that I love about what self-leadership allows us to do is to be courageously vulnerable.
Yes.
So please tell us the story of exactly how you picked up one of your romantic partners at Whole Foods.
Right. So
show us. Tell us, what did you do?
So let's say, and right, just to be clear, I don't see myself as a pickup artist, but I do see myself as someone who enjoys meeting people and starting real connections with people. So how I met this person is I was at Whole Foods. I was meeting a friend. It was actually the same day that I met Emily, and there was the person who was ringing me up. There was just a very, very attractive woman, and I noticed being curious. I noticed just oh, she's cute, and I kind of smiled at her, and she smiled at me, and she rang me up, and I said, okay, thank you, have a good day. And she said, thank you, have a good day. She was being polite, but she did have a great smile. So I noticed, she seems really kind and also very attractive. She might be someone that I want to talk to. And so I kind of sat down with my friend, and I'm having lunch with them, and I'm thinking about, okay, is she still back there? Should I go approach her? And so happens that she comes around the corner and just sits down, and she's on a lunch break, and I'm just thinking, darn, I kind of have to do this now, and I'm thinking, okay, am I really gonna let this happen? And so what I needed to do, I knew that I needed to get into self, get out of my parts that were kind of keeping this potential self-to-self connection from happening. And I thought, okay, what am I afraid would happen if I did go and talk to her? And I realized that there's a part of me that's going to be scared, that's going to be afraid that she's going to reject me, and I'm just going to feel, that part of me is going to feel worthless afterwards. And I kind of checked in. Do I think that part's worthless? Absolutely not. And whatever happens, am I going to love that part? Yes, I will. I'll love myself regardless. And once this part heard that, it's okay, well, we'll get out of the way and let it happen. And I could get into my calmness, my curiosity, my courage, my connectedness, and I could feel that, all of that in my body. And I will, at a later point, a later video, we'll go through a guided meditation on how to do that. But basically, being able to feel the calmness in my body, first of all, being able to sense a potential connection there, and really having the intention, not the intention of, getting her number or getting her into bed or anything like that. I actually, at the end of the day, whether this goes anywhere or not, I want to have an authentic self-to-self interaction with this human being. And you know what? I happen to know that that person, however this goes, would probably like to have an authentic self-to-self interaction, however it ends up. And so, yeah, we're kind of on the same team here. And I began to stop getting nervous, and I just relax and say, okay, I want to connect self to self with a person who would probably like to connect self to self, have an authentic connection, because people enjoy that. It's refreshing.
So once you got into the self, like we say,
Yeah.
self-leadership is about courageous vulnerability.
Yeah.
Self-leadership is also about having the courage to go beyond your comfort zone.
Right.
When you're going beyond your comfort zone, which is what's happening right now, which
Yeah.
is what's happening with you, anytime you want to approach someone that you think is cute, attractive, that's what you need to do, just like what Percy did. Check in with the voices. Those are your parts that are holding you back from fear of loss, fear of rejection,
Yeah.
fear of abandonment.
Right. And you can, you can just, push them out of the way if you want, but they will get in the way of your interaction. You won't be able to be in self for that interaction.
Yeah.
And it's just not going to go well. It's not going to feel authentic. It's not going to feel real.
I think the other thing that everyone should also realize is that it's because of your lifelong investment in getting to know your inner landscape and these parts of you that have given you more courage to step outside of your comfort zone.
Yes.
Because we don't want to give people false hope to say, oh, if we just watch Percy's videos and then just listen to what he says, it's I can't do this.
Right.
So it does take investment in understanding, taking the time to understand what this model is about, and then jumping in when you're ready to actually do the inner work so you could get these parts. So you understand how to get these parts to step aside and let the self lead. Because you do have to address stuff that happened to you in childhood that has you afraid to approach the cute guy or the pretty girl.
Right.
So it's all related to childhood.
Yeah.
Okay, so then let's demo for them what actually happened. I'll pretend I am her and just eating my lunch.
Okay, well this will be new. So, hey, do you mind if I sit down?
No, you can sit down.
Okay, cool. So, I'm just gonna speak for what's going on for me right now, but when you rang me up over there, I thought you were really cute and also just seemed really nice. And so I wanted to just come say hi.
Thank you.
Yeah. So,
you.
yeah, I'm curious. How did you end up working at Whole Foods?
Oh, well, this is my part-time job. I'm a psychology student.
Oh.
And, it gives me extra money to play while I'm in college here.
Interesting. That's cool. Yeah. I'm so curious about when you make that extra money, how you spend it. I have to tell you something. I'm a psychiatrist.
Oh.
So I'm into psychology too, and you have to realize I get paid to ask people really intrusive and awkward questions. So yeah, I might do that from time to time. So I apologize ahead of time. But yeah, you mentioned that you're interested in psychology. You're a psychologist student.
Yeah. I'm just so wow.
Yeah.
Wow, we already have something in common.
We already do. Yeah. So I'm curious, what do you want to do with the psychology? What makes you want to study psychology?
Oh, I needed to understand my family, and there was a lot of drama going on in my family, so I just need to understand why I became the way that I am, and I think it'll help me in all sorts of areas of my life. I don't know what I'm going to do with it exactly. Who knows? I might explore clinical psychology, but I don't know until I go a little further in my studies. What do you think?
Yeah, really interesting. I mean, yeah, I got into it for a little bit of the same stuff. Like I had my stuff that I've been grappling with since I was in like, middle school, when I first realized that, okay, there's a way that I'm feeling really, really anxious and depressed around people. And I wanted to get to know that. And, several things that I looked into. I looked into, meditation, Buddhism, Eastern philosophy. And I found that there's this place of groundedness and connectedness that I can come from. And psychology has helped me to find that too. So, I mean, that's one of the things that I'm passionate about.
Thank you for sharing all that. My goodness, I have to get back to work, but we need to continue this conversation.
Okay.
You already opened up so much about yourself.
Hey, sounds good to me. I'm curious to know a lot about you too. So, yeah. Should we get coffee sometime?
Absolutely.
Okay, cool.
That's a date.
Cool. Okay. So interesting.
Cut.
Yeah, cut. Interesting how similarly that went. Yeah, just to follow up, the next time we met, we had a really grounded self-to-self interaction at IHOP, and we got to know we just really got to know each other, and it was fun. And eventually, as and we'll talk about how to bring a connection, a self-to-self connection, and bring sexuality and sexual parts into that connection. And spice it up a little bit. We can certainly do that, but we did that at IHOP and started talking about our sexuality and our interests and what we liked about one another, and it got pretty exciting. And so
talk about the depth.
Yeah.
You were so courageously vulnerable from the very beginning. With that really first conversation when you sat down, you were saying, I wanted to know about my family, what happened to me, and you were just going right into your childhood like it was nothing.
Well, yeah.
And most people wouldn't even have the courage to do that. But because you worked on yourself, you already know what you're made up of, and there's no shame that you're carrying from the past because you worked on it and unburdened it.
And what?
Peeled it back. You gave her permission to open up.
Oh yeah. I think with one being vulnerable and going first and being vulnerable, it does make it easier for the other person to be vulnerable.
Yes.
And when you are in self, the other person gets that you actually care about them. You actually do want you. At the end of the day, you want them to be happy. You want them to be honest with you as far as whatever they might want, however they might respond. I just want to know what's happening with you. And I have to give credit to this person that I sat down and had a conversation with, because she was actually courageously vulnerable as well, and she was able to say, yeah, this is why, like just as an example of what you said I wanted to get to know about my family, and I was just curious about psychology. That was being courageously vulnerable as well, and I see that and I like it. That actually, at least for me personally, that's a turn on. Like when someone is courageously vulnerable in that way, I'm like, oh,
absolutely.
This is someone different. So I take it. I take that courageous vulnerability and I take it a step further and say, hey, yeah, this is what happened with me, and this is what, and it's vague. It's not getting deep into like, not getting deep into my history or anything like that. But it's like, okay, I sense this could go a little bit further, and we can get a little bit deeper. So. And
think about how you gave her the compliment. Hey, you're cute. No, you didn't say it like that. I felt your heart, your energy. I just want to let you know that when you were checking me out over there, I was the voice inside of me. So you're speaking for the part. The voice inside of me said,
right,
she's cute.
Yeah.
So instead of, because that doesn't seem as obnoxious as the pickup artist coming up to you and saying, you're cute. And they have a different energy.
Right. It's like I'm wanting something. I actually am just really being honest. and speaking for my parts. And however she responds, like, I don't need anything from her. I have this, whatever part that did want something ahead of time, I held that part. And I'm like, whatever happens, we're going to be okay. And reminding that part there and coming into the situation can allow her to be whoever she is. All parts of her are welcome in this situation, along with all parts of me. And I'll speak for the parts of me that come up. Yeah. And perhaps she can speak for the parts of her that come up. And that's what happened. So that was an example of how to meet someone in a self-led way and to start a self-to-self connection. And, luckily, to this day, me and this person are still in a self-to-self relationship, and it feels really good to know her.
That's great.
So.
Well, and the other thing is, I think the part that might be afraid of rejection, if that part knew that, okay, maybe she's not into the type of relationship that I'm in, and she may say no, or maybe she's just, into this current boyfriend or whatever it is that she was dating. And to let that part know that, at least she will walk away with a genuine compliment. And I know that I will make her feel really good. Even if nothing happens between us.
Yeah.
I mean, how often do we get complimented?
At least we'll have, you'll have the compliment, and even, in my mind, something that is much more valuable than a compliment is a genuine interaction, a genuine connection.
Yes.
And that's kind of the most valuable thing. We want that with people that we aren't sexual with. We want that with people that we are sexual with. And when that's there and you're sexual, it is some really hot shit. Let's just say that. So,
and this can work.
More stories on that later.
And this could work just as well when it's you're at a party, and you may not, or maybe a networking event. Same thing. Hey, I noticed that when you did that and you asked that question to the presenter, that it was really spot on. So you're just paying them a compliment.
Right. You're paying attention and you're speaking for whatever is happening for you, and sometimes
without any agenda.
Right.
That person can take it.
Yeah. So we'll talk more about how to get into self, how to get parts to step aside so that you can be genuine in connection with another human being, and you'll find yourself in these situations more and more where you're just having more and more genuine connections, and it makes life really exciting.
So the big takeaway is that self-leadership is the key to this courageous vulnerability, and it's the key to opening up so many doors for you, because in order for us to get what we really want, we have to do all the uncomfortable things to get there, and self-leadership is the powerful tool and secret sauce.
Right. So more on this later.
More on this later.
Thank you.
Next time. Bye.
Bye-bye.